The topic is the crossing detectors. So basically, these crossing detectors are kind of comparators only. So the extended version of this comparators is zero crossing detectors and spin trigger circuits. Comparator means we have studied that it is going to compare between the two input terminals of the op amp and it is going to give the possible output. If the positive terminal is greater than the negative terminal, that is non-inverting terminal voltage is greater than the negative terminal voltage, then output is taken as positive. If the negative terminal voltage, that is inverting terminal voltage, is greater than the positive terminal voltage, then the output is taken as negative. And you have seen that the output goes to positive saturation in whenever the non-inverting terminal is greater than negative terminal, that is inverting terminal. At the same time, the output goes to negative saturation whenever whenever the input, the inverting terminal input is greater than non-inverting terminal output. So this is what a normal comparator is going to do, where it is going to compare. Or sometimes what we do is we are going to keep a constant reference voltage to the one of the terminal, like inverting terminal. We might keep a reference voltage. If whenever the input signal is greater than this reference voltage, we are making the output to uh, go to the positive saturation. The saturation in the sense the plus VCC, whatever we give for the op amp plus VCC. Negative saturation means the minus VC minus VE, whatever you are taken. If you are taken plus 12 volt and minus 12 volt, then plus 12 volt is positive saturation, minus 12 volt is negative saturation. So at the output, it is going to create uh, the wave, the square wave, where during until it is in until the positive terminal is greater, it will be in positive saturation constantly. When inverting terminal becomes greater than the non-inverting terminal, the output goes to negative. So this creates a kind of square wave. Okay, that is what we have studied. So now we are going to study some more specific kind of applications. Among them, zero crossing detector and Schmitt trigger circuit is one among them. Schmitt trigger circuit is also there for your lab. So the same circuitry, whatever we study here, the same we are going to implement in the lab. So zero crossing detector, that is shortly known as ZCD. Here in the zero crossing detector, what we are going to do is we are going to take, it is also a type of comparator, so which changes the output between plus V saturation and minus V saturation. According to the saturability property of an op amp, we know that plus VCC is taken as plus V saturation and minus VE is taken as minus V saturation. Can anyone tell me what is saturable property of an op amp? What is saturable property of an op amp? Mamita? Mamita is there?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what is saturable property of op amp? In the beginning of this module, we have studied.
Sir, even if the input increases, the output remains constant.
To what level it remains constant?
Like
Plus this.
plus VCC.
That means whenever the output tries to increase beyond the VCC or minus VE, the output remains constant by clipping of the extra voltage. If you are taken plus VCC as 12 volt and minus VCC as minus 12 volt, and if your output is trying to swing beyond this plus 12 volt and minus 12 volt, let us assume your positive voltage will go to 13 and negative voltage will go to minus 13. During that time, output will not allow plus 13 to minus 13. Instead of that, it is going to clip off that extra 1 volt and it is going to give the output as plus 12 volt to minus 12. So this is known as saturable property of an op amp. This plus VCC and minus VE are going to act as a limiters for that op amp. So maximum output can be only within the range of plus VCC and minus VCC or minus VE. So totally, if it is 12 volt minus 12 volt supply you have used, so totally maximum output swing can be maximum of 24 volt peak to peak. Okay. So beyond this, if you try to increase, it starts clipping the extra voltages. Whatever extra voltage you might get 50 volt, but your output will be seen only for 24 volt. Whatever you are having extra, that will be removed off. Okay, that's why sometimes you will be able to, whenever the input voltage is increased to a larger extent, you might be able to get square wave. Okay, and even in BJT amplification, while doing it, sometimes instead of giving 30 millivolt or 50 millivolt, if you are given zero point 0.5, 0.5 volt, you have seen, instead of giving a sine wave, it will be giving a square wave, because that indicates for that 50 millivolt, it is capable of giving 8 volt, means for zero point 0.5 volt, how much voltage it can increase, right? So because of that, when it is going beyond the level and uh, in the BJT-C configuration, the experiment what we have done, we have used plus VCC as 12 volt, right? When you are used 12 volt, and if you are trying to increase beyond the 12 volt, obviously during that time, your output will start clipping, and output will look like square wave. So in the laboratory, if you are getting the output as square wave, then you should then you should rectify that you are not given the input properly. That means what you have to do is you have to go to the signal generator, and you have to see that whether you have applied the attenuation or not, because our signal generator, whatever we are having, it can have only minimum voltage of 0.1 volt. Beyond that, we cannot reduce. But for amplification, what we tell is to keep 50 millivolt, so that we can see the level of amplification it can achieve. And we are using the transistor which is having a current gain of 100. So when we are having a current gain of 100, and you are going to increase more input voltage, during that time automatically the output will go beyond the threshold or beyond the limitation. So that's why you have to, in that case, you have to check whether you have pressed the attenuation or not. So this is what a small trick or small basic thing which you have to follow it up. So coming to this, so here the negative terminal is grounded, that is inverting terminal is grounded, and non-inverting terminal is given with the AC signal, and we are taking the output with. This is a very simplest thing, simplest comparator you are having. We can see here. See, whenever during positive voltage, this is the AC signal which is given to the non-inverting terminal. Obviously, it will have positive negative alternative signal. Whenever the positive terminal is given with the positive signal, that is positive half cycle, during that time, obviously non-inverting terminal will be at higher potential compared to the inverting terminal. During that time, the output will be going to positive saturation. Positive saturation means what? Plus VCC or plus VSAT. So it goes to plus V saturation. It will be here. So until you are having positive voltage, you will go to plus VSAT. Now, after that, say if your the input signal, whatever you are giving, if it is going to negative saturation, when a negative phase, that is, it is going to minus Vm. During that time, can you tell me whether the inverting terminal will be at more potential or non-inverting terminal will be at more potential? When you are given negative voltage, that is negative phase is applied at the positive terminal of the op amp, during that time for this circuit, whether your inverting terminal will be at higher potential or non-inverting terminal will be at higher potential. Hmm? Sagar is there? Sagar?
Negative terminal is at zero potential, sir.
So now negative terminal is at zero potential,
And
and your
positive is
positive
at negative potential,
negative
meaning like
potential.
negative value.
Yeah, negative value. So now which is greater among these two?
0.
0 is greater than the negative value, right? So output
Yes.
so this minus inverting terminal is at higher potential compared to non-inverting terminal. Even though the non-inverting terminal is having negative potential, the negative value, but since that negative value is lesser than 0, so this will be at higher potential compared to this one. So now what happens during negative half cycle, your output goes to minus V saturation. It goes to minus V saturation. Again, when your input, when the input signal, when you get the next positive half cycle, automatically what happens? The non-inverting terminal becomes greater than the inverting terminal. So during that time, again, your signal will go to the positive saturation, plus V saturation. Again, when you get negative signal, again your output goes to negative. So this is known as zero crossing detector, ZCD. So this indicates whenever a signal is crossing zeroth reference line, this is zero reference line. So whenever a signal is crossing zero reference line, it is going to change the output. So until it is not crossing this zero reference line. See, this is a zero reference line. This is a zero reference line. This is a zero reference line crossover between the signal and the zero reference line. Only during that phases you have change in the output. Until after that there is no change. See, here you have positive voltage. You have constant V saturation. You have a negative voltage during this. You have a constant negative saturation voltage. But when it crosses zero reference line, these parts, during that time only it is going to change the phase. That's why the name zero crossing detector. So this is going to detect the whenever the signal crosses the zero reference line. Here the same thing can be plotted over this graph, V naught versus V in. So now can you tell me what you call this graph as? Whenever we plot output voltage by input voltage, what you call that graph as?
VI characteristics.
VI characteristics, very good. Where is I, man? There.
Transfer characteristic.
Transfer characteristics. It is transfer characteristics. Transfer characteristics is it is a graphical graph which is going to tell you the variation of the output with respect to the input. It is not VI characteristics. It is transfer characteristics. Whenever you get output along y-axis and input along x-axis, that will be the transfer characteristics, not VI characteristics. You can see here when the output is when the input signal is positive. This is first quadrant is what? Positive. Positive input voltage. Second quadrant is what? Negative input voltage. Okay. So the when you are having input as positive, during that time the output is also positive. When this is what? This is the negative quadrant or negative side of the input voltage is minus V in. So when the input is at a negative voltage, automatically it goes to minus, output goes to minus V saturation. When V in is positive, output is plus V saturation. When V in is negative, output goes to minus V saturation. This is what the transfer characteristics is going to indicate. Now let us look into the applications where we can use. So ZCD can be used as sine to square wave converter. See, here we can easily convert a sine wave to square wave by using this one. So it can be a converter, sine to square wave converter. Next, ZCD can be used in checking the condition of an op amp. So whether both the positive, whether the op amp is working properly or not, we can easily. It is a very simple way. We just take an op amp, connect the plus VCC minus VE, give ground the inverting terminal, give the input signal to the non-inverting terminal, check the output. If you are getting square wave, then it is working, otherwise not. Next, used as a frequency counter. It can be used to count the frequency, how many number of different frequencies, because if the input signal is changing, automatically the square wave length is also changing. Used as phase meter to measure the phase angle between the voltage. It can even be used to measure the phase angle between the voltages. After this, the next one is very important, Schmitt trigger circuit. A Schmitt trigger circuit is a fast operating voltage level detector. It is very fast compared to the any other type of the comparators. So it is going to detect the voltage fluctuations. Here in this case, what we assumed was if 0.1 voltage of input is given, it is greater than 0, and automatically we are going to draw the positive saturation. If minus 0.1 will go, the input goes to minus 0.1, automatically it goes to minus V saturation. So whatever extent it can go, it will be at minus V saturation only. But if you want to keep some thresholds, like I want only the output to change when my input is going to minus 2 volt. I want the output to get changed only when my input is going to change when my input is going to cross 2 volt or 3 volt plus 3 volt 2 volt. During that time, we cannot just do by this normal ZCD. We have to go for Schmitt trigger. It forces the reference voltage to have same polarity as that of output voltage. The reference voltage is positive when the output voltage is positive, that is V saturation, and negative when the output voltage is negative. This circuit is mainly dependent upon the feedback, what kind of feedback you are going to give. Here, see, there is no feedback in this. There is no feedback. It is just going to compare the input given and it is going to give the output. No feedback, whether positive feedback or negative feedback. We are not going to use any feedbacks. But here in this case, we are going to use the feedbacks. Here the voltage at which the output switches from plus V saturation to minus V saturation or vice versa are called upper trigger point and lower trigger point. So upper trigger point or upper threshold point we call, lower trigger point or lower trigger threshold point. So UTP means it is the threshold which is given in the positive phase only whenever this level is crossed by the input, then output has to change. Or whenever you are talking about the negative phase and your signal is crossing this LTP level, then only the output should change. Okay, that is the difference. That is what UTP and LTP are going to tell. It is simple: upper threshold, lower threshold. In a positive threshold is UTP, negative threshold is LTP. And difference between these two triggering point is hysteresis. And hysteresis you have already studied. Hysteresis curve you have already studied. So the same way you are going to get the curve you'll be getting when you combine this, the difference between this UTP and LTP will be like a hysteresis curve. That's why the name hysteresis. Coming, the first one is inverting. Here we are having 2 to 3 varieties of inverting Schmitt triggers. The first inverting Schmitt trigger, you can observe here, the invert, since it is inverting Schmitt trigger. Inverting Schmitt trigger means inverting means input has to given to the inverting terminal. And here the speciality in this case, what you are going to observe here is you will be giving the feedback to the positive terminal. See, here you will be giving the feedback to the positive terminal. In all the cases, whatever we have studied in the application, we were giving the feedback to the negative terminal. But here we give the feedback to the positive terminal. There is a specific reason behind that. We'll study, once we study, we'll understand that. So here the feedback is given to the positive terminal, and anyhow, it has to be grounded. See, having this resistor R2 either at this point or at this point or at this point doesn't make any change. Please remember that. Okay. After that, we are giving input to the negative terminal, inverting terminal, and here we are having this one. Now we are having upper threshold point, upper triggering point, and lower triggering point. So first we'll study how we are going to fix this UTP and LTP level. The UTP and LTP levels, these are all the DC levels. So you can see it is a straight line. It is fixed. And this is the other one, which is also fixed. Okay. How we are going to find this one? To find that one, we use this formulas. Okay. UTP is equal to R2 by R1 plus R2 into V saturation. So on seeing this equation, can you remember anything? Is it in any form?
Voltage divider.
It's voltage divider rule. So voltage divider rule, and you can see that here we are using the V saturation, and here we are using R2. Here also we are using R2. That indicates that this is the UTP and LTP are decided by the voltage drop, whatever we are having across R2. R2 is what? This is the R2. So based upon the voltage drop, whatever we are having across R2, we are going to decide what should be our output. What should be our UTP and LTP. So in order to find the voltage across R2, what we do is we apply voltage divider rule. So according to voltage divider rule, and you know that output will be whatever the output you are getting, the output can maximum swing either to plus V saturation or minus V saturation. Plus V saturation means what? Plus VCC. Minus V saturation means what? Minus VE. So in this case, what will be the possibility of the output? Can you tell me what will be the possible level of output? What is the possible value of outputs? Values. Yes, Seema.
Minus VEE to plus VCC, sir.
Yes. So either it is plus VCC or minus VE. So plus VCC, I have told it is taken as plus V saturation. Minus VE is taken as minus V sat. See the output. Possible values plus V saturation or minus V saturation. Only two levels are possible. No other values are possible in this. So now let us assume first in this case, if you want to find the upper thread triggering point, upper UTP, you know to find this UTP. So what you have to do is assume V saturation. To find UTP, you should take V saturation. V saturation into R2 by R1 plus R2. For LTP, because lower triggering point, this one you have to consider LTP. So you have to consider minus VE. Minus VE, we have taken the other way of taking minus VE is what? Minus V saturation. So that's why it is minus V sat. So when you take minus V sat, you'll get LTP. So UTP, how we got? V saturation R2 by R1 plus R2. By applying voltage divider rule to this and considering positive saturation, you got upper triggering point or upper threshold point. LTP, lower threshold point, minus by considering minus V saturation. Formula is same, the voltage divider formula is same, but in UTP we use plus saturation, in LTP we use minus saturation. The difference between these two, that is UTP minus LTP, will give you hysteresis voltage. So just substitute the values, whatever the equations we have got here, UTP value minus LTP value, we get, since both are same and your minus of minus, they get added up, we get 2 into R2 by R1 plus R2 into V saturation. So it can be written as 2 beta V sat. So this acts as a almost like a gain. So gain formula, it is similar to the gain formula. So that's why we are going to take it as beta. Okay. So now this here in this part, so we are going to take it as 2 beta V saturation. So this is how we calculate it. Now once UTP and LTP are calculated, fix that UTP, fix that LTP. Okay, that value we have fixed. Now now what happens is, whenever the input is coming, it is going to compare when the op amp is going to compare whether the input is greater than the voltage across whether the voltage across hello
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. So UTP and LTP. So whenever the input is crossing, whenever the input is whenever the input is crossing UTP, see here, whenever the input, this is the UTP level, whenever the input is crossing UTP, so during that time, what happens, which will be greater, whether the input will be greater or UTP is greater. See, when this is the input signal we are having, see where we have marked it, UTP, LTP here. And how to mark is, mark the horizontal lines and take, after that mark the vertical lines. Here mark the vertical lines. Here wherever it is crossing, no, this point, from there you have to take the vertical lines. Now whenever the input is this is the input lesser than UTP value, whenever it is lesser than the UTP value, then input is lesser than UTP value, then this the output will be in positive saturation. The output will be in the positive saturation, and you'll be getting the output at plus Vsat. So now whenever input becomes greater than UTP, when the input becomes greater than UTP, once it is going greater than UTP, so during that time, what happens, it is going to the output is going to negative saturation minus V saturation. After that, again the output is going to change only when again the input is becoming lesser than the LTP. See, once it is crossing this point, again it has to come back. Suddenly it will not go to the positive saturation. So and again it has to come back. Again it has to become lesser than LTP. So when it becomes, let's see, now LTP is this one. It is greater than now in the negative phase. What happens if it is minus 2 volt and this is minus 3 volt? What happens? Minus 2 volt will be greater than minus 3 volt, because minus 2 volt is near to 0 compared to minus 3 volt. So now LTP becomes lesser than, sorry, the input becomes lesser than LTP. So now what happens? Again it goes to the positive saturation. So next, again it has to wait for the input, again it has to wait for the input to become greater than UTP. Yes, now it became, at this point it became greater than the UTP. Again the output goes to negative saturation, and it will be in the same phase. Now again the input has to cross the LTP. See, only once, whenever the input is going to cross the UTP or LTP, only one time you are able to change the phase, or change the levels. You cannot see here it is increasing or again it is decreasing. You cannot change suddenly. Or you can remember in other way, only when it starts increasing, or only at first point it is crossing that. Only during that first point of crossing, you will be able to change the output. If you are, see here in this case, it is crossing here. Again it is crossing here. We will not consider this one. We will consider only this point. Again here, whenever it is crossing, the first time it is crossing, no, we consider only this point. We will not consider this point. That means whenever only that point will be considered for shifting the plus V saturation to minus V. Again, here it is crossing this point. When input becomes greater, then it goes to negative saturation. Again, it has to come back and it has to cross the LTP. When the input is crossing the LTP, then again the output goes to plus V saturation. Whenever the input is becoming greater than, or whenever it is crossing UTP or LTP, it is becoming positive saturation. Sorry, whenever the input is becoming greater in the positive phase, we are getting negative saturation. Whenever the input is becoming lesser in negative saturation, the greater in negative saturation, you are getting positive voltage. Why do we get like this? My question is simple. Whenever input becomes greater than UTP, output goes to negative. Whenever the input it crosses LTP, output becomes positive. Why it is
Input
happening
is
like
given to the inverting terminal, sir.
No, sir.
that? Huh?
Sir,
Input is given to the inverting.
Yes. Yeah, Vishal, tell me.
Sir, it's because the input is given to the inverting terminal. So when this is positive, the other thing will be negative, sir, and vice versa.
Yes. Since we are giving input to the negative terminal, that is inverting terminal, so always it takes the reverse of it. But if you just take the example of you have done Clipper experiments, right? Clipper in your third sem. There you have seen that whenever the input is crossing the reference voltage, we were considering that part of the signal as the output. Whenever the input is crossing the reference voltage, which we connect to the Clipper circuit, that part of the signal will be appearing across the output. But here it is just the reverse because we are giving the input to the inverting terminal. So this is how we are able to swing between plus V saturation and minus V saturation. So here, if the input voltage becomes more than the negative, then the reference feedback, the output is driven into the positive saturation at plus V saturation. This is the reason the circuit is also known as regenerative comparator. It is known as regenerative comparator. It is going to regenerate. So whenever this input is going beyond this LTP, again it regenerates back to the positive saturation. It is going to regenerate back to its level, positive level. That's why this is also known as regenerative comparator. So this is one of the question that can be asked in your Viva. Why it is called regenerative comparator? In Viva as well as in core companies, they'll ask this question. Why it is known as regenerative comparator? Okay, this is the reason we are having behind this. Now, here we just had just R1 and R2 we were having, and based on R1 and R2 we were able to compare the input, and we were getting the plus V saturation minus V saturation swings. That is, output was swinging between plus V sat and minus V sat. But now, if I am going to fix some particular threshold value, so particular threshold value means what I'll be doing is I'll be adding some reference voltage plus VR. I'm going to add some reference voltage. I don't want only to swing between plus VSAT and minus VSAT. I want to swing it between some particular level voltage. I don't want plus VSAT, minus VSAT. I want to swing it between 3 volt and minus 2 volt. Because plus VSAT, minus VSAT means what? It will be plus 12 volt or minus 12 volt, minus plus 15 volt or minus 15 volt, plus 20 volt or minus 20 volt. It will be like that. But I don't want to swing between that large voltage. I want to swing at some particular level voltage. Then what I'll do, I'm going to use extra reference voltages. So what I'll do is I'll add a reference voltage. See here, in the previous circuits are same. The previous circuit and this circuit is same. Whatever we have used here, this circuit and that circuit is same circuit we are using. But what we are adding extra is VR. We are adding plus VR. So here actually plus VCC and minus VCC is missing. We just add that plus VCC and minus VE. That is mandatory. You should have. Okay, VR is the extra thing we are adding. Reference voltage we are going to add. So when you are adding this reference voltage, during that time, what happens is along with this our old formula, whatever we had, what we are going to do is this plus VR will be subtracted with the V saturation in UTP, and it will be in the both the cases it will be subtracted with the V saturation. In our is it was just considered with VSAT R2 by R1 plus R2, but now the main supply is not only VSAT, it is VSAT minus VR. Here minus VSAT minus VR. Okay, the supply voltage, because when you add a reference voltage here, that will be acting in opposite to the V saturation. If you get V saturation at this point, so you can see this is, if this is positive terminal, because when you take the output, what you'll consider this as positive, this terminal as positive, and other terminal ground as negative. So when you consider, and if you try to apply KVL from V out to this one, how the V out voltage will be with respect to VR. If V out is equal to, then V saturation and VR will be in opposite directions, right? So that's why V saturation minus VR we are taking, V saturation minus VR we are taking. Along with that, what is happening is it is just adding up with the UTP levels. So totally what the formula change what we are doing is VSAT minus VR we are doing in this, and additionally we are having VR, because that is acting the extra reference we are giving. Initially the reference was only UTP, which is made up, which is been designed using, R2 by R1 plus R2 into VSAT. But now along with that we are having extra reference, that is VR. That's why what we have to do is the formula change what we are going to do here is R2 by R1 plus R2 into VSAT minus VR, again extra plus VR, because UTP is a reference, UTP itself is a reference voltage. To that reference voltage you are adding one more reference voltage. That is what we are doing. So plus VR we are doing, plus VR we are doing. After that we are just going to simplify this. When you are going to simplify this above equation, we'll arrive with this equation. When you take LCM R1 plus R2 and do it, so you'll be arriving with this equation. So after that, and this is the hysteresis curve, whatever we have got with respect to the UTP and LTP level values. So yeah, no need of having any graph for this. If you want, you can have the graph. Okay, we'll see this one, transfer characteristics showing the hysteresis. See here, you can see, this is the positive phase, and this is the negative part, and this is the plus V saturation, minus V saturation. Here, when input is keep on increasing, you see when input is positive, the output is in the positive level. After that, when it crosses some particular threshold, then it starts going towards the negative, and it will be staying in the negative saturation. Again, when your input becomes lesser than the LTP value, see, this is the UTP value, this is the LTP value. When input becomes lesser than this LTP value, automatically your output again goes to plus V saturation. I repeat it again, when this is UTP, this is LTP. When your input is crossing the UTP value, then your output, which was at plus V saturation, it will go to negative, and it will stay in the negative saturation until your input becomes lesser than the LTP. This is LTP value. Whenever the input is becoming lesser than LTP value, then again your output goes back to the saturation. This will be keep on continuing, and this is known as hysteresis. So it looks like the hysteresis curve which you have studied in your electrical and all. The same way we are having hysteresis. So the design procedure for this is, initially there are only 3 steps for this. I2 is taken greater than or equal to IB max, and I2 we taken as 50 microampere. What is I2? I2 is the current which is entering the inverting terminal. Sorry, the current which is across the R2. The current which is across the R2. The current across the R2 is taken as I2. And I2 is taken greater than IB max. What is IB max? Means the base current, because the positive terminal is connected to the inside this op amp will be having 2 transistors. As you know, this positive terminal will be connected to one of the base terminal, and this is connected to one of the base terminal of the transistor. So we are taking the current across R2 is very much greater than IB max. That's why we are taking 50 microampere. This you have to remember. After that, R2 is equal to triggering voltage by I2, and R1 is equal to V0 minus triggering voltage by C2. So triggering voltage is nothing but with respect to what kind of, whether you are taking what kind of the reference voltage you are considering. So these are the problems which we are having. So we can do these problems in the next class. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me.